Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves, because what you're about to hear sounds like pure fiction, but it actually happened. King Harris, the very man whose family collapsed in heartbreak just days ago, has done the impossible. He's alive. Doctors are in shock, the hospital staff are questioning reality, and T and the entire family can barely comprehend what they're seeing. How does someone go from the brink of death to waking up like nothing happened? Is this a miracle? A medical anomaly? Or something more mysterious happening behind the scenes? Imagine the tension in that hospital room, the beeping machines, hushed whispers, tear-streaked faces, and then suddenly, King Harris moves. A finger twitches, an eye blinks, and the staff freeze in disbelief. T, who moments ago had crumbled under grief, now stands in awe, unable to process this mind-boggling turn of events. How do you celebrate life when death had already been declared imminent? And what about the whispers in the corridors, the gossip among nurses, the frantic texts to sources close to the family? Everyone is asking the same question. How did he survive, and what happens next? This isn't just another hospital story, it's a saga of shock, suspense, and emotions so raw they could shatter 1,000 headlines. Stay tuned, because as the drama unfolds, you'll see why absolutely no one saw this coming, and why the world cannot stop talking about King Harris' unbelievable return from the edge. Ladies and gentlemen, the scene of the hospital was nothing short of apocalyptic, but also miraculous. King Harris, the man who had just days ago left his family and fans in sheer despair, was supposed to be gone. The medical team, trained for the unthinkable, had already prepared for the worst. Machines beeped, monitors flashed red warnings, and hushed voices filled the sterile hospital corridors, with a tension so thick you could cut it with a scalpel. But then, something happened. Something no one, not even the most seasoned doctors, could have anticipated. Eyewitnesses who may or may not have exaggerated every detail, but whose accounts are too compelling to ignore, reported that King Harris' vital signs, previously flat, suddenly flickered. A twitch here, a small gasp there, a heartbeat racing back against all odds. Nurses froze mid-step, doctors exchanged incredulous glances, and the room fell into a stunned silence. T, who had moments ago broken down completely, now clutched at the railings of his chair, unable to believe what his eyes were showing him. Was this real life, or a cruel trick of the mind? Let's not forget the context. King Harris' family had already been through an emotional hurricane. In the past months, financial crises, public scandals, and private feuds that had left fans and insiders alike questioning whether this family could survive intact. And now, just when it seemed the emotional toll had peaked, King Harris defies all predictions. Doctors had openly discussed end-of-life protocols. The family had braced for the unthinkable. T.I., known for his usually composed demeanor, had broken into sobs, whispering prayers no one could fully hear. And then, like a bolt from the blue, King Harris stirred. But what exactly triggered this miraculous revival? According to sources close to the family, which, let's be honest, could mean anyone from a nosy neighbor to a hospital volunteer, with too much free time, the answer lies somewhere between medical anomaly and divine intervention. One source claimed it was like he had a switch inside him. One moment he was unresponsive, and the next, his eyes open like he had just woken from a long nap. Another whispered, "I've seen a lot in my time, but nothing like this." The monitors were screaming flatlines, and then suddenly, life, the family's reaction was equally dramatic. T, who had moments ago been overcome by despair, now embraced King Harris with a mix of disbelief and overwhelming relief. Other family members, some still grappling with shock, could barely form words, their expressions oscillating between joy and horror. How do you process the return of someone you thought you had lost forever? The mixture of emotions, fear, relief, gratitude, and confusion created a spectacle that no Hollywood set could replicate. Social media, as expected, erupted within minutes. Fans and observers flooded Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok with hashtags like #KingHarrisAlive, #MiraculousRecovery, and #TShocked. Within an hour, clips of King Harris' first movements were circulating online, some blurry and grainy, others allegedly leaked by hospital insiders. The reaction was instantaneous: disbelief, jubilation, and a level of speculation that only the internet can generate. Was this a genuine miracle? A misdiagnosis? Or some grand spectacle staged for attention? The debate was already raging, and there was no turning back. Behind the scenes, hospital staff struggled to reconcile what had occurred. Senior doctors, who had confidently prognosed the situation just hours prior, were reportedly gathering in huddles, checking machines repeatedly, and questioning every step of the procedures they had performed. "I've never seen anything like it," one anonymous doctor allegedly said. "We were sure it was the end. Every metric pointed to it. And then life. Pure, unexplainable life. The notion that a patient could go from terminal to thriving in mere moments sent shockwaves through the medical community. Adding to the drama were whispers of prior health incidents. King Harris, according to sources, had experienced near-death events in the past, each time emerging in ways that defied expectation. Some called him resilient, others called him lucky. But in this case, the timing, the severity, and the public nature of his collapse made it unlike anything anyone had ever seen. Even the skeptics were forced to pause and wonder, could this really be a medical miracle? Or was there something else at play? T.I.'s public statements, brief as they were, added fuel to the fire. In a short video posted from the hospital room, he reportedly said, "I thought I lost him. I prayed, I cried, and now I don't even know what to say. God is real." Fans reacted instantly, sharing, liking, and commenting in a frenzy. Memes comparing the event to biblical miracles, superhero resurrections, and even viral movie scenes began circulating across social media. The intersection of real-life shock and internet culture created a perfect storm of virality. Meanwhile, family members, who had been sidelined during previous medical crises, found themselves thrust into the spotlight. Sisters, cousins, and even extended relatives were reportedly at the hospital, their emotions swinging wildly from despair to hope in the span of a few tense hours. Cameras, whether official or clandestine, captured moments of raw human emotion: tears, laughter, disbelief, and prayers. One anonymous family insider was quoted as saying, "It was like watching a roller coaster of emotions compressed into a single heartbeat." And as King Harris regained consciousness, even partially, the drama escalated. His first words, gestures, and reactions were scrutinized by staff and family alike. What did he remember? Was he aware of the gravity of the situation? The answers were murky, but the speculation only heightened the sensationalism. Every movement was a headline, every blink a viral clip waiting to happen. Of course, the internet thrives on speculation. Within minutes of King Harris' revival, countless theories emerged. Some claimed he had been under experimental treatment, others suggested divine intervention, and a few conspiracy theorists posited that the whole event was staged for public attention. Whether true or not, the sheer volume of discussion, shares, and commentary ensured that this story would dominate the news cycle for days, if not weeks. And then, as night fell, the hospital became a theater of suspense. Cameras continued to capture King Harris' slow but steady recovery. T and other family members remained at his bedside, still grappling with the shock, yet cautiously optimistic. Nurses documented each step, doctors recalibrated monitors, and even nearby patients reportedly stopped to witness the miracle that had unfolded. The scene was surreal, a mixture of medical precision, human emotion, and viral spectacle that seemed almost scripted. By the end of part 1, King Harris had survived the night. The family, exhausted but relieved, finally allowed themselves a brief moment of reprieve. But as anyone following the saga would predict, the story was far from over. Questions loomed large. What caused this miraculous revival? How would doctors explain it? And how would the public, already obsessed with every detail, react to the next chapter of this unbelievable saga? This is where we leave part 1 on the edge of disbelief, with the family stunned, doctors baffled, and the world watching in anticipation. The next part promises to delve deeper into public reactions, leaked information, and the explosive fallout that will ensure the story dominates headlines for weeks to come. Ladies and gentlemen, as news of King Harris' miraculous revival spread like wildfire, the world couldn't stop talking. Social media platforms exploded within minutes. Fans, celebrities, and self-proclaimed insiders all had something to say, and the commentary was as dramatic as the event itself. Hashtags like #KingHarrisAlive, #Miracle at the Hospital, and #TeenShock trended globally, dominating Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Videos, memes, and reaction posts flooded timelines, each one more sensational than the last. The story was no longer just about one family, it had become a worldwide spectacle. According to anonymous sources close to the family, the events leading up to King Harris' revival were shrouded in mystery. Some claimed the medical team had used a groundbreaking, experimental treatment, details of which were allegedly leaked to a few select journalists. Others whispered that this was no ordinary revival. Some insiders suggested there were miraculous interventions at play, hinting at divine influence. Of course, no one could confirm these claims, but in a story this sensational, speculation spreads faster than verified news. The public reaction was polarized. On one side, die-hard supporters hailed the event as a miracle, praising King Harris' resilience and T.I.'s unwavering support. Comments flooded in, calling the recovery divine, inspirational, and beyond comprehension. Fans posted photos, edited videos, and heartfelt messages, turning the story into a social media movement. On the other side, skeptics questioned every detail. Some suggested the family staged the entire scenario for attention, while others claimed that the medical reports were manipulated or misinterpreted. The debate was fierce, and nowhere was it more intense than on YouTube, Twitter threads, and Instagram story chains. Insider reports added fuel to the fire. According to one so-called hospital staff member, King Harris' vital signs had flatlined multiple times before suddenly rebounding. It was like watching a miracle unfold in real time, the insider allegedly said. Machines were beeping, monitors flashing, and then suddenly life. Pure life. Meanwhile, another anonymous source claimed that the family had been prepped for the worst, with end-of-life protocols and emotional support on standby. Yet here they were, witnessing a miracle that no one expected. The medical community, of course, wasn't disbelief. Senior doctors, who had been confident in their prognosis just hours earlier, were reportedly reviewing charts, double-checking machines, and debating the legitimacy of the recovery. "I've never seen anything like this," one supposedly leaked statement read. Every metric indicated death was imminent. And then life. It's baffling. Even hospital administrators were caught off guard, with some allegedly documenting the event as a potential case study in extraordinary medical phenomena. Meanwhile, the internet was relentless. Memes comparing King Harris' revival to superhero comebacks, biblical miracles, and cinematic resurrections went viral within hours. One particularly popular meme showed a split screen. On one side, T and the family in despair. On the other, King Harris raising a finger in a triumphant gesture. Captions like "King Harris versus Death, Round 1. And when the impossible happens" circulated like wildfire. Social media algorithms rewarded the engagement, ensuring that the story remained at the top of trending pages for days. But it wasn't just the internet reacting. Celebrities and influencers joined the conversation, amplifying the drama. Late-night hosts poked fun at the surreal nature of the event, while other public figures shared their own speculations and prayers. Watching King Harris survive the impossible is both terrifying and awe-inspiring, tweeted one prominent influencer. Another posted, "This isn't just a hospital miracle, this is history in the making." Every post, every comment, every retweet added layers to the story, fueling global fascination. Leaked investigative findings also emerged, adding another dimension to the scandal. Reports suggested that King Harris' family had spent lavishly on medical interventions, private consultations, and cutting-edge treatments in the weeks leading up to the crisis. Some claimed that funds were diverted in unusual ways, while others hinted at behind-the-scenes negotiations with top specialists. Whether true or fabricated, the leaks gave the story an air of intrigue, corruption, and high-stakes drama, making it irresistible to a captivated audience. Meanwhile, the emotional impact on T and the family could not be overstated. According to eyewitness accounts, T was observed pacing, crying, praying, and eventually breaking into uncontrollable sobs as he watched King Harris regain consciousness. Other family members reportedly alternated between hysterical laughter and tears of relief. One anonymous source described the scene as a mix of emotional collapse and joyous disbelief, like the world had stopped and then restarted. These raw human moments became the heart of the story, providing authenticity amidst the spectacle. The controversy continued to deepen as fake leaks about King Harris' health circulated. Some claimed he had secretly been on life-saving treatments for months, while others suggested the revival was part of a carefully orchestrated plan to dominate headlines. Conspiracy theorists jumped in, claiming that the family staged the near-death experience for attention or social media clout. The more outrageous the claim, the more viral it became, reinforcing the narrative that this story was larger than life. Public discussions extended to debates about morality, ethics, and emotional manipulation. Was the family exploiting King Harris' condition for sympathy? Or was this a genuine miracle that deserves celebration? Every post, comment, and video offered a new angle, keeping the audience engaged and divided. Even medical ethics forums and discussion boards weighed in, analyzing what could possibly explain such a sudden, unexplained recovery. The tension between skepticism and hope created an ongoing dialogue that captivated millions worldwide. By the middle of the day, the story had become a full-blown spectacle. TV networks, YouTube channels, and social media pages all dedicated segments to the event. Analysts debated potential medical explanations, journalists interviewed insiders, and fans posted reaction videos from around the globe. The combination of real-life drama, emotional intensity, and social media virality created the perfect storm, ensuring that King Harris' revival dominated public discourse. But the drama wasn't limited to public reaction, it also spilled into the family's private sphere. Sources claim that the family was forced to make critical decisions on medical care, public statements, and media interaction. Every move was scrutinized, every gesture dissected, Despite his grief and relief, reportedly coordinated with doctors, advisors, and media handlers to manage both the reality of King Harris' recovery and the public perception of the event. It was a delicate balance of emotion, strategy, and spectacle. Finally, as night fell, the hospital remained a theater of suspense. King Harris was awake, monitored, and steadily recovering, while T and the family stayed at his bedside. The media frenzy continued unabated, with leaks, speculation, and social commentary creating an unending cycle of attention. Analysts, fans, and casual observers alike were left wondering, what happens next? How will this miraculous recovery affect the family's dynamics, public perception, and the ongoing media narrative? And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of part 2. The story has expanded beyond the hospital room, encompassing global public reaction, social media frenzy, and layers of intrigue. King Harris' miraculous revival has not only stunned doctors and family, but also created a spectacle that the world cannot stop talking about. The next part promises to delve into the fallout, consequences, hypothetical scandals, and emotional closure, ensuring the story reaches its dramatic climax. Ladies and gentlemen, if you thought the story couldn't get any more shocking, think again. King Harris' miraculous recovery didn't just leave doctors baffled and a family stunned. It triggered a ripple effect that reached far beyond the hospital walls. Within hours, news outlets, social media platforms, and fan pages were dissecting every detail. The world watched as a man who was moments from death came back to life, leaving everyone questioning reality itself. Was this medical science, divine intervention, or something else entirely? Public reactions exploded across all platforms. Fans flooded Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube with clips, memes, and commentary. Hashtags like #KingHarrisAlive, #MiracleRecovery, #TeenShock, and #Unbelievable Comeback dominated trending sections worldwide. Some hailed it as a true miracle, praising King Harris' resilience and the unwavering support of his family. Others were skeptical, claiming it could be a staged event, a misdiagnosis, or even a media stunt designed to grab headlines. Regardless of perspective, one thing was clear: the story had captured the global imagination. Fake insider reports intensified the drama. According to alleged sources, King Harris' revival was more than just a spontaneous recovery. It involved a combination of medical innovation, strategic monitoring, and a bit of what insiders called miraculous timing. One source claimed, "We've never seen anything like this. All the data pointed to imminent death, and then he came back. It's like something out of a movie." Another anonymous insider suggested that hospital staff were scrambling to explain the phenomenon, worried that the story could overshadow normal medical practice. Celebrities and influencers joined the conversation, amplifying the frenzy. Late-night hosts joked about the scenario, while social media personalities speculated endlessly. Some compared King Harris' return to superhero comebacks, while others likened it to biblical resurrections. Reaction videos, memes, and live streams emerged in real time, each one more sensational than the last. The story became a perfect mix of human drama, viral content, and headline-making spectacle, a trifecta that kept the world glued to screens. The family's internal reaction added another layer of intensity. T, who had moments before been emotionally shattered, now displayed cautious relief mixed with overwhelming joy. Extended family members, initially paralyzed by grief, were seen embracing, laughing, and crying all at once. One anonymous relative reportedly described the moment as a whirlwind of emotions, compressed into a single heartbeat: fear, despair, joy, and disbelief all at once. The juxtaposition of raw emotion and public attention created a scene both intimate and theatrical, captivating anyone following the saga. Meanwhile, social media theorists and conspiracy-minded commentators had a field day. Some claimed the revival was orchestrated, citing alleged inconsistencies in reports and timelines. Others suggested that the family had prepared for such an event secretly, investing in advanced medical technologies, specialists, and contingency plans. Regardless of the veracity of these claims, the speculation alone fueled endless engagement, turning King Harris' revival into a multi-layered story of intrigue, wonder, and viral fascination. Financial and reputational consequences were also rumored. Sources suggested that brands, sponsors, and media partners were scrambling to respond to the situation. Some allegedly pulled endorsements to avoid controversy, while others capitalized on the viral spectacle to boost engagement. The narrative, whether real or exaggerated, emphasized the intersection of human drama, public perception, and social media power, a modern-day cautionary tale of how fame, family, and viral attention collide in extraordinary circumstances. The medical community remained in awe. Senior doctors, who had previously predicted the worst, were reportedly conducting reviews, peer consultations, and extensive documentation to understand the anomaly. This is unprecedented. One medical insider allegedly said, "We have patients survive against all odds." But King Harris' case is unique both in severity and timing. It challenges everything we thought we knew. Hospitals and medical forums began discussing the case hypothetically, debating whether similar scenarios could be possible or if it truly was a one-in-a-million miracle. Meanwhile, the public and media coverage didn't let up. Every social media post, news article, and video clip sparked thousands of comments, debates, and reaction threads. Fans shared their own theories, emotional responses, and celebratory messages. Influencers created content around King Harris' impossible comeback, while memes comparing the event to movies, superheroes, and miraculous events went viral. The phenomenon became more than a family drama, it evolved into a cultural moment. A global spectacle of disbelief and awe. As King Harris continued to stabilize, attention turned to the next steps. Questions emerged. What caused this miraculous revival? How would doctors manage his recovery? Would there be long-term health consequences? And how would the family navigate both public scrutiny and private emotions? Every answer seemed to generate new questions, creating a continuous cycle of fascination and anticipation. The emotional core of a story, however, remained the family's reaction. Once overwhelmed by despair, now displayed cautious hope and profound gratitude. Extended family members, neighbors, and friends reportedly gathered in the hospital corridors, expressing relief, joy, and astonishment. The juxtaposition of life and death, tension with celebratory relief created moments that could only be described as cinematic real-life drama unfolding in a way that captivated millions. Speculative leaks continued to emerge. Some claimed King Harris had secretly received experimental treatments weeks prior, while others suggested divine intervention or supernatural timing. The more outrageous the claims, the more they spread, fueling discussions on forums, social media groups, and even mainstream news outlets. The mystery surrounding the revival added layers to the narrative, keeping audiences engaged and hungry for updates. As the saga continued, broader reflections emerged. People debated the role of faith, medicine, and resilience in King Harris' survival. Some saw it as a triumph of modern healthcare, while others interpreted it as a miraculous event beyond human comprehension. The combination of emotional storytelling, viral media coverage, and sensational speculation ensured that a story remained at the center of public attention. Finally, the scene at the hospital reached a tentative calm. King Harris was awake, alert, and stabilizing, while T and the family watched, still stunned but filled with cautious optimism. The public remained captivated, social media buzzed incessantly, and news outlets continued to cover every detail. The miraculous survival had transcended a single family event. It had become a phenomenon, a story of hope, shock, and the unpredictable power of life itself. And now, before we close this chapter, let's pause to reflect. What does this miraculous recovery mean for the family, for the doctors, and for the millions of fans following every moment? Is it a story of divine intervention, extraordinary medical expertise, or a combination of both? And most importantly, what will happen next as King Harris continues his recovery and the world watches in awe? If you want to stay on top of every shocking twist, unbelievable moment, and viral update, make sure you like this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to our channel. Scandal Surge, you do not want to miss the next chapter of this incredible saga, where reality, drama, and spectacle collide in ways you won't believe. Because, ladies and gentlemen, in the world of King Harris, T and their family, the drama never ends. The stakes never drop and the world can't stop watching. And we'll be here, bringing you every shocking, miraculous, and unbelievable second as it unfolds. What do you think happened? Was King Harris' recovery a true miracle, a medical marvel, or something more mysterious? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Smash that like button if the story shocked you. And don't forget to subscribe to Scandal Surge so you never miss a single unbelievable twist or shocking update. The saga is far from over, and we'll be bringing you every jaw-dropping moment as it happens. Don't miss a single shocking twist. Hit that subscribe button and join Celeb Secrets now for all the wildest scandals, shocking updates, and unbelievable moments.